It's 255 TCP time. And I got a question, guys. Really quick question for you. Because I haven't looked at Twitter today. Did anything important happen or no? I don't think it did. So
I've not tried to look at Twitter or Reddit, and my life has been forever changed. I'm a much happier person. I've been practicing, meditations daily, and I feel much happier. And here we are. No social media. Stay off social media.
You have a baby. You have a baby, so you're too busy to go on social media.
There's a baby in my vicinity. Yes.
A baby that is related to you?
Orbits me. True, it is related, but it's not my baby. Let's be very clear.
Well, you look after it, and it lives with you, so it's your baby. By definition, it is your baby. So, yeah. So, given I just woke up, haven't checked anything yet. I'm just ready for a full episode of
these previews.
So that's all we had to talk about, guys. We're going to talk about previews. No, I don't think there's been any news. I don't think there's any news whatsoever. Zero news. Can't think of anything that happened within the past 3 hours and 40 minutes as of this exact moment. Joe's gone. He's going to deal with the baby.
No.
Be honest. You were rocking your baby.
Yeah, I had to go. Yep. There was a pacifier missing. I had to fix a milk
you
bottle.
You were singing a lullaby.
I want to pacify.
Had the baby cradled in the arms, just.
Yo, shout outs to anybody who unironically eats baby food and likes that shit. That shit tastes like butt. That stuff tastes bland. It's cardboardy and it's not good.
I agree.
Summer Showdown is rapidly approaching. Depending on when you see this episode, it'll be coming soon.
It's tomorrow.
Extremely soon. So we're nearly there. We are nearly there. And to celebrate that, I guess we just talk about what the matches coming up. There's 13 of them, and they're coming up. So, without further ado, episode 255, brought to you by AVRL Vista Bebe, Battlecrab, Refine Bean, Bronze Butt Buhal, Chare, Picasso, Chris R34444, Cash67, Molshin, Porkchop Sammy, Rick Zane, Volamel Spoon Nuts, Your Misery with YouTube members Ice Ham Jello, William, Jesse, Vishman, Fireman 6, AK, and Chris R. I do miss whoever was called Philadelphia is more of a stage 3 team anyway, because that's relevant now. Stage 3 is coming.
It is. That is true. I won't out whoever that is. They know who they are, but they, they specifically asked to get their name changed. Just like the NYXL social media manager, you know who you are. But no news today. No news. There's no news ever.
I don't know what I just made that up. Sources. I made it the fuck up. I don't even know what I'm talking about. No idea. Never have. I don't know why I'm here. And also special shout outs to our partners, Juked. Get live on Juked.
Go over to Juke. There's some new things with Juke, so let me tell you about them, because Juke is the proud sponsor, and we're happy and thankful that they're sponsoring this episode of Tactical Crouch. If you're not sure what Juke is, it's an esports platform and a social media app that's made specifically and is targeting esports and gaming fans at large. If you're sick of all the hot takes and toxicity on other platforms, Juke has come out to on day one.
And boy, has there been toxicity on other platforms. I won't name which ones, but.
They rhyme with
has been good.
Yes, 100%. And they're taking an active approach to try to mitigate and, reduce that as best they can. But on top of that, you get all kinds of schedules. So if you're an Overwatch fan and you're into contenders and you want to, catch up on the rookies, you want to get ahead of the curve on who's getting rookie of the year next year. Juke has all the contenders scheduled out. They have them, push notifications to your phone. Oh, you're into Valorant? Boom, you've got Valorant on your phone. You want to watch fucking farming simulator esports? You want to see the fucking crazy shit that goes on there? I know I do. So you know what? I click that on juke.gg. Now, the one interesting new feature that they have added is that they have a live chat feature. So if you're tired of all the Twitch chat spam, Juke is an alternative. You can go there. They're, just beta testing out these new platforms. And if you do participate and post and interact, you have a chance to earn a new chat badge. Now, for the Tactical Crouch and Juke partnered MVPs of the week, we posed a question pertaining to some of these previews that we're about to get to. We asked you guys in the community who the best Junker Queen might be. Who's hot on the button? Who thinks they know what's up with the Junker Queen? We've got people like user Colton1 saying Kaluj, I feel like he will be able to combo with his insane shock DPS players to get crazy value, and he has some really good mechanics. Or you could be like Berserk Heal, Call me crazy, but Collusion Mike, you should take the stage. No doubt Reiner will be number one contender in NA. But with how wild this meta is currently, it has shock written all over it. So a lot of shock love, a lot of Colluge, a little bit of Mikey in there for the Junker Queen.
Mhm.
So if you're interested in dropping a line, there's going to be another episode. So go over onto our Juked account, drop a line there. Who do you think is going to be the best Junker Queen? And you know what? If you're a fucking degenerate Daniel and you want to watch some of the games and then actually get a correct vote in, you know what? You can do that. Will we appreciate that? Yes, we will. Go hedge your bets. Go crazy with it. And we thank Juked for sponsoring this episode of Tactical Crouch.
Quick, talk about something interesting while I go pick up my nuggets.
Interesting thing. No, I mean we can jump right into these previews. But first, I think it's, probably a good refresher to talk about, what can we expect to be played? I think Yiska dropped a line that Reddit, I think, accurately took. I think in the past we've maybe raised an eyebrow to how quick or like how much people are actually watching these. But, I think we did get quite a bit of love when it came to Reddit this week. And
for sure.
When it came to, what are the compositions being played, maybe some Scrimbucks juice. But, as it stands right now, I don't believe the compositions have changed, have they, boys? I think we're still loading into the Junker Queen comp, right?
Correct. It has not changed. It will not change.
I also kind of want to point out that if Reddit has to realize the Pavlovian reflex they can foster in us is like, you're being nice to us. We also haven't flamed you guys in a hot minute. So, maybe, if you want to educate us and train us like the dogs we are.
What the fuck could they, what could they educate us on, huh?
See, I jinxed it.
Excuse me?
I jinxed it.
They don't need,
how the sausages make? Yeah, no. Like I have no free will. I'm under no illusion I have free will. I'm just really a byproduct of whatever Reddit thinks about me.
Something funny did occur today. Amongst everything else, which is what I saw was like there was a complaint that I read regarding Junker Queen feedback. That was not even really. It was like half joking, but I think it's also like mostly serious. When I say half joking, I mean like maybe 5% joking and 95% serious. I was this close to revealing from which team they were from, but let's just say a coach from a team in the Overwatch League who is from a team that is expected to be probably one of the best teams in this next meta, which Junker Queen meta. They had a feedback post about Junker Queen that said, hero is broken, please delete, so boring playing only Junker Queen every single game. So when one of the teams that is, I have no Scrimbucks in here, I'm assuming they're dominating. One of the coaches from a team that is dominating with this hero is saying, this is bullshit, we don't even want to play this and we're fucking winning. We're in for a wild ride. This is not going to go well. This meta is going to be absolute dog. And all the people that are like, oh, you wouldn't mind having one stage of Junker Queens, like, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're in for.
I think it's going to be a little stale, but hopefully, we get some decent games to make up for the fact that we're not seeing a lot of funny heroes or, some strategic depth, let's say. But with that said, speaking of strategic depth, we load into this London, Florida game to open the week, which will be live chat available on JukeGG. Check it out. I'll be in there for a little bit. Come say hi. Do we think that London's strategic depth is even going to matter against Florida? Is that a team on the with the potential to kind of shake up things with a little Rhine shenanigans? Or
I'm here now that I understood the assignment from last time. I understood the tomfoolery that you guys engaged in, and then also Platchet engaged in. Because what did my eyes have to see? Oh, an estimation that London was worse than Florida. Not true. I think
so.
I think yes, like this team definitely had a little bit of a choke going on, which is fair for like
Which team?
Some London, some like British made, Lanimals that they don't, bring it in their first LAN is maybe
you just
understandable.
insult the entire you just insult all British esports players. You're just like, all the Lanimals are chokers. They fucking suck. They won't get on planes.
I will argue that if London plays the same level they played against Atlanta, meaning their average level, consistently throughout this tournament, they might be a team that would have made top 4, possibly.
Sure.
So I think, generally speaking, London was pretty hot.
Wait, are we in the Florida versus London preview yet?
Correct.
Yeah,
we are
there.
We've arrived there. Officially, we've arrived there now.
So
yes,
I just need to know for me.
Now,
you're good.
None of this has any relevance towards Junker Queen comps.
Right.
And we're in my home turf now. See, like last time, you were like, "Oh,
we're in Germany.
Power rankings of the now," and now I'm like, "Scrimbucks, bitch." So, I think from what I'm hearing, this might actually London is a decent team at the moment. Not they are a mid team, I would say, right? While Florida is pretty close to that. And I would say this is actually going to be a pretty good matchup. I think one thing that one might appreciate about this is Christopher's a cheesy motherfucker. He loves the cheese.
He is.
He's born in the cheese.
He's a smart man. He's a smart cheese connoisseur. What's a
Connoisseur of
cheese
the brie,
sommelier?
And the cheddar and the blue.
Is there a word for that?
Huh?
Cheese man? Cheese machine? I don't know.
Yeah.
I live with a guy called Cheese Man. Anyway, continue.
Hell yeah.
Point being, I think early meta they probably can cheese something out. Now, are you concerned about the composition or the integrity of how both of these teams are picked? Because this is a pretty unusual meta, and I will tell you straight up, the Overwatch League teams have been taken for a ride this year. You not only had a flex DPS main support flex support meta. You had a flex support meta, and now you arguably have a main support meta. Even though I will say, framing Brig as main support is also a little weird. It's a special pick, right? Sometimes. The best the best Brigs were everything else but main supports. They were very often flex supports, skewed, or
don't use no. You can't use skewed as an example. That guy's an outlier.
Okay.
That's not normal.
Haxal?
Most people who play that was goats, man. We're talking about the support players playing support.
Sure.
We're talking about 2-2-2 roll lock here. I don't care about anything before roll lock in that conversation. Also, Brig is such a changed hero that talking about Brig back then is so different to how Brig operates now, especially in Overwatch 2.
Yes.
Brig has, in my eyes, mainly been a main support hero. She's been played by main support players way more than flexible players in the history of the career of Brig players, except for skewed as an outlier. That person there's an anomaly. Can't use him as an example.
Right. Yeah. So I think the only team currently prepared to play these metas is NYXL with 4 supports. Never mind.
Check the news. I don't know.
I, if I had to give a prediction, would slightly favor London here, but I think it's going to be a good series.
Would agree. AVRL, do you think London gets this done, or? We still hate right?
I don't know.
Okay, I'll go. You eat. Much in the same way that Yiska kind of said. Yes, Chris and the London Spitfire are a little cheesy. Let's say I would call that creativity, but you can frame that however you like. And with the entire world basically scrimming only Junker Queen mirrors, I think there is some room for some shenanigans, a little tomfoolery, a little. You could take some teams for a ride if you throw them an odd look or two. And I suspect that London will have at least one map that they can just kind of throw them an odd look and just get a lot of extra space for like no good reason. So I'm going to say this is a 3-1 London. I think they can play Junker Queen. I think it functions similarly in a very loose way, kind of similarly to the comps they've played in the past. And I think they've got a good thing going. So I'm going to head that way.
This is where I'm going to land.
Okay.
I have faith in Christopher to be creative.
Mm-hmm.
I have faith in London as a team, generally speaking, just generally without looking at a meta. However, I also have a lot of good faith looking at Florida right now because of their run in mid-season. I thought it was a pretty good run, all things considered. And what surprised me more is that they actually did beat London in that as well. Close game, but they pulled it off. In a way where they like legitimately beat the Rhine, which I think is if you can beat London, you have to beat the Rhine.
True.
Couple of meta considerations. I'm willing to give this game the full distance of a 3-2 in favor of Mayhem, but what the 2 that I give London is my acknowledgement of the fact that they are a good team and that they, quote unquote, if they do cheese, I think it could work, especially early on. Yeah. But at the same time, it's not that early anymore. You have to consider this was already been played in contenders for a while. This isn't not like a fresh meta. This is a meta that Overwatch League is coming in late for, which in the history of Overwatch League has been pretty normal that they come in late for a meta when contenders already played it. So contenders does most of the legwork for you, figuring it out.
Yeah.
So here's what I see. The main issue on London that I think will hold them back in this meta, and I'm speaking from a perspective of like if you play the core 5 heroes of Genji, Sojin, Junker Queen, Lucio, Brig, if you play those 5 core heroes, here are the problems so far for London. The big one for me is the Backbone Genji.
Sure.
I respect Backbone as a Mei player, even as a Zen player, which is crazy to say, but his Genji is still not quite up to par.
Not up to snuff.
With the league Genjis that are dominating. Even versus a team like Mayhem, Checkmate's going to be a better Genji. And they still have Hydron to play Sojin, so that's pretty nutty.
Do you think they will? Won't it just be Xe?
Either or. Look, it doesn't matter. Whichever one they play, it's a pretty good pick for them, right? Someone's shown to be one of the ultra flexible tanks, like one of the, again, the only other tank other than Smurf that I think has shown proficiency on the off tanks, and this is where all the people who don't understand what the word flexible means will be like, oh, what about the one time Reiner played Sigma? Yeah, he played Sigma one time when Space had all this drama around him, he couldn't get fielded, and so Reiner was forced to play Sigma one time, and people will repeatedly tell me that's some reason they think Reiner's a good Sigma. He played it one time. Stop! You guys need to stop. You guys are delusional. And don't get me wrong, Reiner's I'm sure Reiner will be a fantastic Junker Queen player. He's a very good player, Rookie of the Year candidate, maybe even front runner, depending on who you ask. Very good player. I'm just sick of the dishonesty of people saying this shit about like people bringing up their bullshit. It's like, go back and watch that game. You know the only reason he played is because Space was like, they had to fucking hide him in the presidential bunker because he was getting shelled. Sure. Let's please start being honest with yourself. Please stop lying to yourself. I fucking hate the dishonesty. Okay, moving on from that. Had to bring it up because I know some dickheads typing in the comments already about it. So I'm preempting all the dickheads typing dickhead shit. Where was I before that rant?
You were talking about Florida,
the fact that I was talking about someone. I was saying someone is one of the 2 tank players that I've seen cross the barriers between both sides of off tank and main tank. And before I'm going to do it again. I'm preempting the dickhead in this. Before someone mentions Hawk is still working on the main tanks. He's getting there, but I don't consider him to be there just yet. Maybe he'll get there by the Countdown Cup because clearly everyone's just going to play Junker Queen now anyway, so we'll never know. That being said, I expect everyone to be pretty good at Junker Queen because Junker Queen is one of those heroes like Doom, actually, that kind of transcends the traditional roles in that both main tanks and off tank, players have been able to pick this hero up, and I've seen that across contenders. Both main tanks and off tank players have been able to pick Junker Queen up. It's not entirely clear which player from what original role does a better job of playing this hero. It changes from team to team. So, yeah, anyone could be good, but I will put my faith in someone because he's proven to go between all sorts of different tank disciplines and roles quite comfortably so far in the season, and I trust that he can do that. Or the other reason why I have my faith in Florida is because Cumber is because they're very good at they very much want to play this kind of rush style, right? This kind of like they were one of the only teams playing Lucio Moria, and then Lucio Moria is a bit of an interesting conversation given
You
that
love an Irish lady.
given that Lucio Moria's win rate is pretty low previously, but
Yeah.
I had heard that Lucio Moria actually performed pretty good in scrims. That aside, yeah, I mean, Mayhem certainly have a tendency to want to play that direction anyway. It seems like a style that they want to play in. So, in a way, this Jungle Queen meta fits into the style that they already wanted to play regardless. They have someone that's very comfortable in Sojin. They have a good Genji player. I'm not necessarily like super elite, but currently I would put Checkmate above Backbone. I don't think that's a hot take.
That's not, not at all.
And they have like 3 support players, and I don't even know what Kareem state is. Kareem won't play, but they have like they have 3 support players they can sort of look at. I'm sure they can find 2 good supports to play Lucio Brig in the middle of that. Yes, so that's my reasoning.
In Florida, I will add the caveat for me that I think that the only way that London does win if they can avoid the direct mirror matchup as much as they can, because of the point you raised about Backbone, like you're going to have to get creative to find a role for that kid to, thrive in. And if that's playing May, if that's playing like more Rhine, maybe even adding in Shax and Sparker into like some weird creative DPS mix that we haven't necessarily seen yet. Like maybe that's the solution. But if they just mirror match,
there isn't one.
I'll leave that up to Christopher Cheesy's brain to figure out.
The only look, I've looked across contenders. I've looked at cheesy shit. Look, there's the O1 esports and the Saudi teams have been doing plenty of. They have fucking Yazan on their team, who is like a godfather. Sure. That's the premier cheese, right? That's the old aged Gouda, right at the top of the list. You're playing like a prime Pharah player in a situation where like you can kind of get away with it because there's nothing to shoot the Pharah outside of a Sojourn rail, which has been nerfed. Sure. That's the cheese. I guess the answer to the question is like, well, can Backbone then play a Pharah? How good is Backbone Pharah? I don't know. Maybe it's insane. Maybe it's actually really, really good. And they do cheese and they win in Florida. Don't know what to do. It's not impossible, but I just haven't seen it yet. So I find it hard to put belief in that before I go there. And I don't think there's any other cheese possible. There's nothing. You can't run. There's nothing else that I've seen that can really fit into this meta. And before anyone says like, what about Echo? It's like people play Echo in response to the Pharah.
Yeah.
It's not a Genji Echo meta where you just like, oh, I might just play Echo. No, people are only playing the Echo in response to the Pharah. Otherwise, you're not playing the Echo. The Genji is far better in that matchup currently, especially if you have a good Genji play. And even then, I don't know what Backbone Echo is going to look like. A lot of this to me is going to come down to what is Backbone good at in this meta.
Yeah.
Because if it's only the Mei,
would agree,
then they're stuck on the Rhine comps. And maybe sometimes they can win with the Rhine comp, but there's a reason why this Jungle Queen has dominated every single matchup and every single like possible solution. Even like maps where you would normally play Rhine and teams would try the Rhine, like it doesn't go well. The Jungle Queen comps have a much higher percentage chance of winning on average than the Rhine comps.
Right. Yeah. All right, Yiska, last touch. Any hope for Florida for you, or
no,
is there a world?
This is still a close thing, right? Like, I think you could even arrive at the position where you're like, okay, London was probably had the better first half of the season. They maybe even peaked higher, despite like them not doing well at mid-season. But this is a meta that is probably more down the wheelhouse. Just because you got to question how good Backbone's Genji is. While you don't have to question that for Checkmate, right?
Yeah, so, not at all. It's been a consummate professional all season, for sure.
Now, yeah, I think it is almost either you think, I don't know if there's alternate cheese, but yeah, maybe I'm talking myself out of once again talking myself out of being
I
high
haven't
on
seen any
London.
cheese.
So
Right.
I will go against my better judgment and my internal voice to constantly underrate London and still say London.
Attaboy. All right. Moving on.
You're just trying to dodge that DM from Nuki. I understand what you're saying.
I mean, let's call a spade a spade. Speaking of getting 3-0'd in the neutral, we're moving on to New York versus Houston. Is this one of those ones where we reiterate what a 3-0 is and what a 3-0 is? Or is there hope for New York and their new main support?
Can they? No news, by the way.
No news.
Well, the questions I have.
No drama.
Can Anson J actually join the roster and play? Because I know he's not in New York.
Do we know?
Yes.
Yeah, he's actually on ping.
So it's got a little trick I figured out, and it's not a full like a safe reading of the situation, but my understanding is, or my pattern recognition is, that as soon as a player shows up on the official Overwatch League website at the team, that implies league approval has been given.
So Kuki was the 6th man at the start of the season. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes. But that doesn't answer the question. Are Anson J and Ho1 in New York to play? I don't think they are.
No, they are not. They will very likely play remote. Because
playing on ping, we love that.
Oh dear,
it is
we love
ping gaming.
It is incredibly challenging to get anyone over, and I think like the signings you are seeing and will see, are almost all destined to play remote if they are not from within the North America or from an existing.
Because I was going to ask, what about the new players in Houston? And I realized, they're already in North America. Wait, except for one of them is...
Yeah, Doge is remote as well.
Okay, so that means Piggy will probably play the Jungle Queen unless Dante's playing it.
I would bet
then again,
him.
Dante just said he was benched. Dante just joked on Twitter that he was benched, so I don't know if he's serious or not. Maybe he is benched. Maybe Piggy's playing Jungle Queen. Pelican's playing Genji. Merritt's playing Sojin, obviously. Which leaves Lep to play one of the main supports and Lastro to play the other one, I guess.
Oh. It's a solid team.
Man, this team was
not
so
mad at
close.
That team at all.
You know what? This team is so, with the new signings, this team is this close now to dumping Pelican, Piggy, and Eris, like Halo said. Wait, just that close. I'm joking, by the way. I'm definitely /S for those that come from Reddit /S. So you guys understand I was sarcastic. But no, this is a 3-0 for me. No, I don't think there is. I don't with Gangnam Jin Lucio and Anson J Brig on ping. No.
Yeah,
and like that combined with the rest of the problems this team has had all year. No. And Houston Outlaws is looking like a pretty decent team. They were already looking like a damn good team last stage. As much as like Jungle Queen takes the spotlight for this meta, I think the biggest playmakers are still your DPS players, which is why I put so much emphasis on what does Backbone do for London in our previous discussion.
Sure.
And I still put the emphasis now on, it's Flora Yaki versus Pelican Merit. No competition. I take Pelican Merit 10 out of 10 times.
Every day.
100%.
Every day, all day.
Merit's better than Flora, Pelican's better than Yaki. This is a 3-0.
Yep. Agreed. Yiska? Any debates there, or are we moving on?
No, I think generally speaking, I think this will be... I'm predicting that we're going to see a lot of new faces tomorrow. But also not having... I mean, I know, I did the interview with Doge for the release. I think it's interesting to see that he's more like a ball specialist.
Okay.
I think it's generally, from what I could find out, other people said it's a really solid signing. But I will also say, being a tank, playing on ping, I would much rather see them play Piggy on Junker Queen. Right. But
do you think they might play Doge?
I think there's
I just assumed it would be Piggy.
Yeah. I think
I
like,
don't really know much about Doge. So.
it's so weird because Junker Queen seems like such a character that would be. Yeah, maybe it's Piggy because like it's like such a highly mechanical
timings.
Like like in my mind, and this could be totally wrong, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if you have the fundamentals to play Roadhog well, despite the flanking like inclination that you got to switch off, I think like the mechanical demands, like if you have a good Roadhog player, it seems like you should be a good Junker Queen player, no?
Yeah.
Yes and no.
Yes and no. Yeah.
Not really. Maybe a little bit.
Like I feel like the knife is not too fundamentally different from the hook. The shotgun mechanics are reasonably close.
I think a lot of this is more so like making sure you're maximizing commanding shout uptime and like usefulness, like effectivity of that ability is more.
Knife is way harder to hit than the hook by a long shot.
Yeah, I agree with
that. Yeah, left click accuracy on the shotguns is pretty important, and it's you can definitely do a lot. It's surprisingly long range, is what I'll say. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I would compare it some ways to Hog, and I've literally made the comparison. I've said like Junker Queen's just a better Hog. I've literally said that, but I'm also not convinced that it's like a 1-to-1. Like, oh, if you're a good Hog player, you're instantly a good Junker Queen player. So I don't know about that just yet. I would say like. I don't know that there's another hero that like mechanically is close. She's very unique, very different, unique hero. And even though you'll say like ability wise, maybe Hog is close. Hog's playstyle feels a lot more passive, like a real flanky, baity play. I don't know about Overwatch 2 because barely anyone wants to play Hog on Overwatch 2, but like Hog's gameplay, generally speaking, is like a very, I don't know, like you almost don't want to be taking hits. You don't want to be in the front. You don't actually. Well, you want to be in the front if you're in the attack, but you don't want to like. You don't want to tank. Whereas Junker Queen is like, this is crazy to say, but she's like a Rhine that doesn't have a shield, which means you just have to fucking go forward.
Run on it.
But you get a Zarya bubble, but only for yourself, but then your team gets HP as well. I don't know. It's like that. It's like a way more aggressive Zarya. But mechanically, it's closer to Hog, but like playstyle-wise, it's like a very ultra-aggressive Zarya. But yes, so
3-0s all around.
Yep.
All right.
Before it's gonna be a 3-hour episode. Boom. We're gonna take 15 minutes for the matchup.
Before New York sells one of their NFTs to sign Evermore, let's move on to Dallas Fuel and the Los Angeles Gladiators. Is this another 3-0? I mean, I remember. Okay. What do we have to say about Dallas here?
I give this 3-1 because Glads always seem to lose a map somehow.
Fair.
I actually think Dallas. Here's the thing. Here's the thing that people, again, from reading some comments lately, definitely, I'm not gonna lie, there's some salty Fuel fan comments in there, which that's par for the course, obviously, but also at the same time, they don't seem to get that like a power ranking is a snapshot of the specific strengths of a team at that exact moment in time. Again, not a prediction for how well they're gonna play in a future meta or a future tournament or a future stage or whatever. Literally just a snapshot of like, we just finished Mid-Season Madness. How strong are they now? And for Yiska, I'll send you a facsimile of a German version of that statement so you understand what a power ranking is as well. Because clearly we had some misunderstandings last time. But
I don't think Germans are allowed to rank powers.
Okay.
You're not wrong.
Anyway. So a lot of people are like, how would Dallas this low when we're about to head into a rush meta? It's like, that's not what a power ranking is. Okay, you want to re-rank Dallas now as we head in? We'll find out. We're about to find out. But a lot of people be getting mad at where people, well, not just us, but also Platchat put Dallas, given the mid-season meta, which I thought was a fair placement. But that doesn't mean that I'm sleeping hard on Dallas. And what I mean by that is I think this is a good stage for Dallas. First of all, the strength of schedule looks reasonable.
Okay.
A lot of teams that are very beatable for them. A couple of teams that are very hard. Like they have both Shock and Glads here. But yeah, playstyle wise, it's a good meta for Dallas. My only issue is they still don't have a good Sojourn player, in my honest opinion. I think Gorilla is a little lacking there, and so does Edison. But they do have the God Genji of Sparkle himself, which is fantastic. I'm sure between Harmon and Feelers, one of them is going to be insane on JQ. Gio finally gets to go back to a main support. I'm sure he's loving that. He wasn't doing too hot on the flex. Big question will be how good is Fielder's Brig? So, 2 question marks for Dallas. What are they going to do to solve the Sojin problem? And how good is Fielder Brig? If they can solve those 2 things, I think this is a team that's going to do quite well here. But not well enough to beat the Glads. So I have this 3-1 Glads again because I think Glads typically tend to lose a map. And Dallas, I think they're good enough in this meta to take a map off the Glads. But Glads are current reigning champions, back-to-back winners of 2 stages now. 3 if you want to go all the way back. But again, there was a playoff in the middle there, so I don't count the 3-peat personally. And they should have this meta on lock because they have all the bases covered. I think they have all the bases covered.
Yiska? Is this another locker rant? Are you throwing Gurio and rinsing his pockets for his lunch money, or do you have nice things to say about the boy? You absolute rookie abuser.
Nah, unfortunately, like I don't see like the one consistent part of this meta. Is the Sojourn position, right? Unless they have some like, what's it called, like island talent, island gift or something. The like if Gurio is like an Ashe savant, maybe.
Okay.
Okay.
No. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. I understand that Ashe is a character in Overwatch 2, but
you're saying Dallas might play an Ashe instead of a Sojourn?
Yeah, I think Ashe is actually the meta among best teams. So
I'll believe when I see it, because the problem I have with that is that Ashe doesn't have the speed that the meta requires. She's too stationary. I think Bob is great in this meta. I think Sojourn getting nerfed and Ashe and Bob being like very difficult to deal with in this JQ meta, because you can't sleep it, you can't discord it, you can't just take it out quickly. Deals unmitigated damage because you have no mitigation in your team to stop the Bob damage at all. Bob is insane. Dynamites are insane as well because, again, you don't have very little mitigation. However, Ashe's weaknesses are still there, and Sojourn's strengths are still there. Sojourn is a way faster character, way higher pop-up potential in terms of the one-shot capabilities. And Ashe is... I'm not saying Ashe can't be better here, but Ashe is only better in certain positions. And I even... This is coming from me, who did argue that Ashe was better last stage than Sojourn. But again, in particular areas, I didn't. People will misquote me, and they for some reason think I just said Ashe was better full stop. I never said that. She's better in specific situations, like New Queen Street.
Right.
You want to go to New Queen Street? You want to play Ashe? That's a fantastic map for Ashe. Really good. Great sight lines. You have height to play through as well in certain areas. Bob has insane viewing angles. The Bob has so many good angles on that map. Just all sorts of things going well for Ashe on that map. But there are plenty of maps where you can't be playing that Ashe because the Sojourn is just better on certain maps, and control maps is one of them. Like, you would much rather have a Sojourn on most of the control maps. Right. You will never convince me that you'd rather play an Ashe on Lijiang Tower than Sojourn. Take note, Soul Dynasty. Apparently you don't understand that. So yeah, I think Dallas could attempt the Ashe, but I don't think you can run it full time. Personally.
Any other solutions, Yiska? Does Dallas have any outs here?
No,
just an empty hand.
It's probably going to be very hard. I think like whatever you might think that Dallas has over other teams, unfortunately, it's not enough for.
I can tell you what Dallas have over other teams.
Gladiators.
They have a lot more money, and what they do have is like, oh, Happy's on the market. That's an interesting proposition.
Yeah, that's never going to happen. Otherwise, it would have happened previously, right? Like, unfortunately,
probably.
Like, I guess like the point here is Happy's reputation is still one as a booster, and therefore certain full Korean rosters just have the stance that they don't want to play with you, right? Like there's even the pre-existing.
Didn't they have OG on their team?
Okay, Dallas Fuel proper, not Rush Dallas Fuel, right? Like keep in mind this guy was part of Element Mystic.
Correct. Originally, Vesta
was part of Element Mystic. I think like there's still some like if Happy was, not only does he make sense as a player, he has pre-existing synergy, and Dallas Fuel has money. if it hasn't happened at this point, it won't happen.
It's not gonna happen. Yeah.
Okay.
Right,
well, hang on. Just we'll back down from that a little bit because we're going to save the drama for the drama episode.
Yeah,
For
no
those
news.
wondering why.
No
No news. But maybe tomorrow. Well, I'll check Twitter tomorrow and find out if there's any news. But right now, I haven't looked at Twitter, and I'm sure there's no news.
Right.
Yeah.
Any further? Has anyone not done a pred yet for this game? Are we ready to move on, or are we still predding this
No,
one?
I would say that this is a 3-0.
I'm going hard Glads, and Scrimbucks
Yeah.
say they're the best team in this meta.
I think on paper they're the best team. I think those two definitely align. I think the fact that like in a weird fucked up flipper baby meta, you can bench Shu and still and arguably look better with the rest of the league, like having to scramble to find like a second like Brig player. You have arguably one of the best.
Crazy that I ended up being the one to defend Dallas the hardest here. You guys all 3-0. This I said 3-1. Interesting.
Yeah.
But I think Dallas are being slept on slightly.
Sure.
I think they do have to solve a couple of things. I'm not saying they're not going to be the Gladiators. I'm not saying they'll be that, but I think they're being
100%.
slept on for this meta, and I think they will do well, despite the low ranking from midseason. Again, that power ranking only applies to midseason madness.
For sure.
That's not a prediction for this Summer Showdown. Boston, Atlanta.
Yeah, moving on.
I actually think Boston could be good. I think Boston could be really good.
I think so too.
But I don't know if I trust them enough to put a win. This is a problem. This is a trap game. This is one of those trap games where like, but Atlanta just came third. Surely they don't lose to Boston. And then they do.
Good.
I could so see it happening. But I think I have to pred Atlanta 3-2, but I have a lot of faith in Boston to take this one. And I would not be surprised if Boston did win. Just because I think they have a lot of stuff going well for them. Faith gets to play his
plays best hero.
Good hero. Well, okay. The problem is you need a Lucio, so Faith probably has to, you'd say Faith would be great on Brig, but then one of Crimzo and MCD have to play Lucio, which is not ideal. So Faith probably has to play Lucio, which leaves a Crimzo and MCD on Brig. I think Punk is going to be insane on JQ.
Yes.
Punker Queen, get ready for the Punker Queen. And then DPS, they'll figure it out, I'm sure.
Well,
I don't know.
You say Punker Queen, I say Pork.
You say what now?
No, that doesn't make Jock.
Yep.
Jorka Queen.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is I still got to back Atlanta because I think, you know, they have the Kai Sojin, which is great.
Yeah.
The Nero Genji is still...
Dude, that's the entire point. I feel like if you're Boston, you go, oh my god, fuck, we have Atlanta at this stage. And someone else goes, well, it's prior to speedily become like popping 18. Yeah. It's like, fuck yeah, dude. Like, that's such a big difference.
Yeah, I guess Hawk, Junker Queen, OG on the Lucio Ultraviolet Brig. I don't know. I have a little bit of faith in Boston. I'm still going rain here. I think it's still 3-2, but I have some faith in Boston to do something.
I have it the exact same way. I think Seeker Valentine are going to be an explosive DPS duo coming out. To Yiska's point, I think we are going to be seeing some new faces coming into tomorrow's games, and I think Boston is going to, reap the benefits of that. I was not super impressed with Victoria's Sojourn. I think he had his moments, but there again, that's one of those heroes that you can have moments, but you're aiming for consistency, and I think Secret can kind of bring that. I agree, Punk should be fantastic. It sucks that they have to open against Atlanta because you kind of have to. It's hard not to bet on them because of how consistently good they've been. But I think this is subtly close, so I'm going to say Atlanta 3-2.
Like Yiska said, if there's one time to beat Atlanta, it would be now before Speedly comes in.
For sure, yeah.
When does he come in? When is Speedly's first eligible game?
That's a good question.
27th, I think, or something.
So Houston, he can only come in for the...
close.
So that means he can play the London game. He can play the London game and the Houston game if he gets fielded for those games. And the Glads game too. So you can play for 3 out of 6 of the matches.
This guy, what you got this going? Numbers.
No, this is
Give me some numbers.
Numbers. This is
give me numbers.
65-35 Atlanta.
Okay, close.
But what's the score? It's not a score.
Oh, score?
It's a feeling.
3-1.
Okay. I think we're all kind of in the same direction mostly. Any last final thoughts? Moving to Shock. Shock Justice. Team with no news. This is a very newsless game. Is this a 3-0? I'm feeling this is a 3-0. Boys?
I'm feeling it. Are you guys ready for the the Finn Brig and Violet Lucio combination. Oh,
yeah. I will say, I mean, to your like ahead of like the dickheads in the YouTube and Reddit comments, like Violet is a different case when you look at flex supports because he's had like league and stage experience on the hero versus people who have not, right? Like you can meme on like how it's like kind of fine and you know in the past it's been bad, but it's been very clear that like they trust Violet on this character enough to play him and not like go out and find a new main support. They could find a Western flex or main support rather.
You act like Violet would ever allow anyone to bench him and replace him. That's never going to happen. Violet will take that role to his deathbed. You know, the day Violet gets replaced is the day that he's 6 feet under and the shock no longer exists because, you know, he takes that shit to the grave. He is the San Francisco Shock as far as I'm concerned. And I'm only half joking. Anyway, I'm pretty sure he's Andy Miller's boss. I'm pretty sure Andy Miller's direct report is actually Violet. This is proper dominating Sojin. I very much think, my guess, no scrimbucks, I have no indication. I don't know anything about what Shock are actually doing, who they're playing. My gut guess is that they are doing proper Sojin, Sam Genji.
Yeah,
that would be what I think is him.
He's coming in with the Glock.
Yeah,
that would be my guess because it's funny enough, but like in the last minute in Midseason Madness, Proper was their third priority Sojin player. Like out of all the 3 DPSs, he was the lowest in priority for playing Sojin. Yet, in my honest opinion, he was the best Sojin player of all the 3 of them. He was the best one, but he was the hit priority because you needed him to play the Tracer. Now that he doesn't have to play the Tracer for this meta, my guy is suddenly gone from third to first priority on Sojin. Because he fucking popped off on Sojin. He was phenomenal on Sojin. Holy shit, he was good. Yeah, and Sam's Genji is very, very good as well, you know? So I think they'll do well off the back of that double DPS combination. And again, I don't know how their Jungle Queen situation is going to work, but fuck it, they'll figure it out. I can't speak to it's so hard because like outside of people like, oh, I'm sure Smurf will be great and Ryan will be good. Like, I'm sure every tank will be just like good on Jungle Queen. Like I don't know, there's just no, you know, there's not enough data to suggest whether they will be good or not good. You might as well just keep the same rankings and the same, like if you were to power rank all the tanks, just reapply that again for Jungle Queen as a default because we have no fucking clue how good any of them are going to be. So
at least with looking at this first week, I think after the first week we'll have a better idea of like, oh, who's also, like a little suspect. But yeah, it's not really worth talking about.
I know there's people probably saying like, well, why isn't Violet playing Brig? Isn't he a Brig guy? Like that's one of his heroes, right? It's like sure, but then do you trust Finn on the Lucio?
Finn on Lucio? Yeah. So
I don't think so. So because only one of those 2 guys plays Lucio and it's Violet.
Yeah.
So Violet has to play the Lucio. Finn's got to be the Brig.
Yeah. No questions for me there. I think Shock
3-0 though.
Yeah, I would say that this is a 3-0. You know, no news or anything, but you know, I don't suspect Justice are fantastic. I even without anything that's been said, I don't suspect they would have been good at this meta either way. I think they're too.
How good is the K Genji?
That is one way to look at it.
Pretty reasonable, isn't it? Happy Sojin to K Genji is pretty reasonable. I think their team is reasonable. Opener probably.
I think they have the pieces. I just don't think that they would ever be on the same page to execute the things.
Just funny. I actually think Kalios plays Jungle Queen.
Could do.
I legitimately do. Yeah. My gut feeling again. No scrimbucks. My gut feeling is Kalios plays the JQ. However, you know, normally I would say, could this be competitive? Maybe. I think they're especially DPSs could maybe do some real damage here. But that's probably been the story of the entire year for the Justice. But unfortunately, now that their entire team just found out they're being dropped, I don't know if they're going to have the morale to play through this one properly. Who knows? Still 3-0. I don't know. I can't see the Shock really dropping this.
Yeah, hard to believe. Yiska, any thoughts?
I mean, who the fuck knows who even shows up in this game? So, like, I think no matter what. Like, yeah, Scrimbox had Justice doing interestingly well. I think, like, on paper, this is just a shock meta, like, nobody's business, right?
Right.
Is that true for the main support? Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I think it'll be fine, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it's a liability.
I think just like the DPS just makes it like pretty good anyway, even though like you'd probably very much like Proper to be cloned.
Sure.
But yeah, no, like this is a clean 3-0 shock.
I don't know if you can get Proper cloned because I don't know if Proper could play on a team with himself.
Oh, that's base.
Proper, I don't think he could. I don't think that could ever happen. I think Proper is the kind of guy where only one Proper can exist.
Yeah. Yep.
He'd be the type of guy that, like, if he found out he had clones, he'd have to kill all his clones so that he could be the only one.
It's like a shitty 80s like sci-fi movie.
He's like I can't remember which season of Game of Thrones, but we're not saying he's Joffrey, but I'm gonna go in that direction, but I'm not saying that he is. But I'm saying, like, it'd be like if he's the son of the king and he has to kill all the other bastards so that he's the only child. No competition for the throne. No competition. He's got to be number one. Again, that's that. I'm only comparing it to that specific part, not anything further than that. So don't read into that.
Sure.
Don't read any further into that. It's not that deep. It's Is anyone giving any maps to Washington, or maybe thinking Washington might have a chance here, or are we all firmly 3-0?
I mean,
yeah.
I want to believe Washington can do something here, just because, like,
empathy.
I feel like their players have the capability, but that's again been the story for the whole year. So I guess I can't.
Sir.
I think Proper's just too good to lose here.
Yep.
Then again, Shock did drop 2 maps in KC, then have to reverse sweep.
True.
So,
they did do that.
You know,
that was
anytime
nail biting the close.
Is Shock generally in trouble this meta though? With their backline?
I wouldn't say so. No.
I
don't think it'll be great.
Think it heavily depends on Finn. It's the same question I have about Fielder.
Yep.
Strangely, I think Violet will be fine on Lucio.
He'll be fine.
I think he'll actually be fine. I don't know how good Finn's Brig is.
Yeah, they don't have a hard strength of schedule, I think, other than Gladiators. So
do they have Gladiators?
I think so, yeah. As Eric is
they do.
Implying with
they do.
mouse cursor.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm also like being a little bit low on this strength of schedule because after all, like Mayhem are no pushovers. Boston might not be pushovers.
Yeah.
And then there's also Fuel.
So
yeah.
I mean,
maybe I'm wrong. Yeah. Okay. Maybe because mild
/ S again for the people that didn't get that. Toronto versus Vancouver. I'm actually going to go 3-0 here for Toronto. Now, I know I said that this was going to be the stage that Vancouver make the comeback, but I'm going to be real with you guys.
Yeah.
This Toronto team should slay this meta as well. I think Finale's Genji is dirty. It is actually so dirty. And he's a really good... He's proven, again, that he can be a top player. Like, he's a really good Sojourn.
Yeah, Sojourn is very good.
So, this is a meta where, like, I actually look at DPS number 1 in terms of priority for what needs to be good. Again, people are going to get baited by the Jungle Queen's like, oh, Jungle Queen's a centerpiece. Yeah, but it's the DPS that are going to win and lose you this meta. Promise you that. Based on what I've seen so far. Trong Lucio, love it. Twilight Brig. I'm actually pretty inclined to trust Twilight here.
Yep.
So my only question mark is, who plays a JQ? And again, I just default to, I'll just trust them to do it because we have no information on the tanks. So Toronto looking pretty fucking good to me. Whereas Vancouver, I don't really know too much about King. Spy's been reasonable. Between Aztec, Master, Scarepa, is there enough there to get the double main supports off the grid? Master Lucio is decent. What about the rest though? And I'm pretty sure as well, based on rumor, Mirror is going to be the JQ player.
Makes
So
sense.
apparently, supposedly he is now transitioning to full-time tank position
Mm.
and away from DPS.
Yeah, I'm gonna bite the bait. I'm gonna be the one. I'm gonna be the guy who looks like a fucking goofball when this ends up not being true, and the Vancouver Titans go for their let's check the ranks, their 13th straight loss. And I agree with a lot of those points with Toronto. I think Hisu's going to be fantastic. I don't have any doubt that Finale probably comes out and performs well. But if I'm ever to use a scrimbuck, if I'm ever to cash one in, if I'm ever to try to sell an underdog story and really, let's get the sales moving. You almost beat Justice that one time last stage, right? I'm gonna give this Titans 3-2. It's gotta be bold here. I think that there's something I feel a certain way about this game. There's Yiska talks about the magic. His Mars is in retrograde. Jupiter might be in Gatorade. I'm huffing the cope. I'm saying Vancouver 3-2.
Yo, you stole my whole fucking flow. Word for word, bar for bar. What the fuck?
You guys are on some shit.
Yo,
I think this is the first one.
I'm going 3-1 Vancouver in the battle for Canada. I trust the regime. Okay. The regime led by Lord Emperor Depay. Okay.
Okay, careful with the Lord Emperors, all right? Jeez. I already said you can't rank superpowers.
You will find that I give out lore titles inflationally.
You hand them out.
Look. Stalin ruled the Soviet Union with the Iron Curtain. Depay rules it with the Iron Shoulder. Boom.
It's true. Based.
Truth. I think I'm excited for King. I'm excited to see what generally their theory of this meta is. By the way, this is a very hot Overwatch League insider word. It's their theory is very strong.
Ooh.
That's a sentence you will sometimes hear. Their theory is very strong. And when I use that, I feel a little bit smart.
That's such a trap. That's such a trap.
Yeah. That's what
how principles do you
in theory
enforce?
They should be pretty good.
Do you create bespoke metagames?
Yeah.
Hit us up at overwatchleague.gmail.com.
I just love it.
I love a good buzzword.
Right? This needs to be the fire team, but unfortunately you can't run
he's
fire
playing
full time
JQ
either.
though. Yeah,
that's the thing is you can't even pull out that cheese unless you're training 2 players on JQ, which I don't think they are.
Is Pharah fixed, or are they going live with bugged Pharah? Do we know?
Fixed.
Gotta be fixed.
What about? No, it's fixed. It is fixed.
Is the Junker Queen bug fixed? The double application of shields?
No idea. I did not.
Ooh.
I
didn't
think
even know
it
that was
should
a thing.
be. It's a very before people freak out. It's a very niche bug.
Yeah.
As in if you were to sit there in a custom lobby, you could probably replicate it. But in an actual game where shit's happening, it's actually a very difficult bug to replicate. So I don't think it's a major concern. But the problem is that it could happen. If it does, it could make a difference and it could lead to a result changing.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to downplay the bug. I am saying it does need to be fixed, but at the same time,
sure,
I'm also saying it's a rare bug.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, yeah.
All right.
I'm high on my scrimbucks once again.
Fair play.
Hoisted
I'll take a little and make some
Toronto's
tea.
too good here. Toronto's
Could
lineup
be,
here should be too good to lose. Simply too good. Finale, Hisu alone. Yeah, that's enough for me.
Who plays Junker Queen?
Play. I don't know that it matters, to be honest.
Eileen Muse.
Eileen
Muse.
Mm-hmm.
And part of the reason for that, because I'm trying to think of who's the more aggressive tank player? Who's the tank player that is probably more likely to take a risk and get in your face and try and do shit? Then also comes down to the coach. Maybe the coach doesn't want that. Maybe the coach wants a safer player who's not going to do that. But I think you need the player that's going to be a bit risky here and go for the players as the Junker Queen. I don't think you can be a passive tank player in this meta. You have to like be very, you have to ego the other team. If you can. A Bostoni versus Londonis.
I feel like this is going to be a little closer. If what we there again, it's tough. This one, I feel like this one's like a 50-50. Am I in the wrong for thinking that? Am I crazy?
Yeah.
Do I think Boston could get this done?
I think Boston might get this done. I got some really crazy hopium.
Joe, you remember these?
Remember what?
From last episode? Okay.
Numbers.
Okay. How many Australian players does London have?
0?
Okay, how many Australian players does Boston have?
1 with a dual visa.
AVRL, which team are you playing?
They have none. They have none, and they have all Americans on their team.
I mean, yeah, you could say that. Could say that.
True. Based.
Yeah, I think this obviously predicates on what London looks like against Florida. If they just absolutely get blown out,
it's hard to know.
Yeah.
It is hard to know because if London don't look good against Florida, they don't win here either.
They get
Agreed.
blown the fuck out, and Boston probably wins.
Yes.
But if we're gonna say that London even takes Florida close, like this is still a pretty fair matchup, right? It comes down to backbone again, right? Like you have a lot of questions answered with Boston.
Yeah, but then that's the problem with making a pred here is it's so predicated on how London plays. Because if backbone looks good versus Florida, then he'll be fine here too.
Right.
But if he doesn't look good versus Florida, then he's not good here. Like it's
right.
So much of this is just based on what happens in the first game.
I feel like a lot of this, like a lot of these, like London, Boston, Florida, all seem like at the roughly the same level, right? And that makes it like that they're playing each other pretty fairly early on is interesting, right? Like that makes it pretty spicy. Those will all be good matches, I think.
Would agree. Yeah, I think that London, backbone is a big question mark, is a big liability, 100%.
Also, how good is Landon on Brig?
Fair question. Yeah.
Because part of the problem is like Landon to me has been like a very. I don't want to like misrepresent him here because I'm sure that he'll say that he can play all these different heroes, but like his main hero has been BAP, and everything that's not been BAP for him has just been kind of average to below average.
For sure.
So I don't know. Like I gotta see it to believe it. I just don't know if I can trust the Landon Brig until I see it.
Fair. Yeah, that's where I'm gonna use the buzzword. I'm gonna say in theory. There's some orbiting factors that may still put London ahead here, ever so slightly. I think in week 2, this matchup is probably Boston favored if all the things we say about Boston are true and end up being correct. But I'm gonna still coin flip this and give a very ever so slight edge to London here. I'm gonna say 3-2 for the Spitfire, opening 2-0.
Yeah, and sadly I gotta stick to my guns too. If I say that Florida beat London, I have to say that Boston beat them too. So I'll go the opposite. I'll just go 3-2 Boston.
Well,
fair play, Yiska. Break the tie.
I would go Boston, but they have an Australian player, so I gotta go London.
Okay. Because they have a German GM, so I understand it.
Wait, shit. This backfired?
True, yeah. Something about the pots and the kettles, right?
Yeah.
Second game, Saturday, Justice, Eternal.
Wait.
Is this
hold
on.
Hold on.
What?
The Boston Uprising also have a German coach.
True.
Yeah, but Hardy is on London.
Fuck.
Oh, they also have a German player. Trumped.
Shit. Well, bias located.
Biased podcaster. All right, Justice Eternal. Which kind of fucking is this just going to be a fucking absolute shit show? I have a feeling this is Bread Bowl 3.0. No? I think Justice wins.
Can Paris do something here on looking at their roster? It's gonna be Dove Sojourn, Wub Genji. To be fair, that's one of Wub's heroes. I'm actually kind of trusting the Wub Genji here. But the rest of the team, we have to figure it out.
Yeah.
Drew plays Lucio, Khan plays Break.
Yep.
What does that look like?
Fine.
I legitimately don't know who plays JQ between Dan and Vistola. I have no clue. I actually don't. How good was Dove Sojourn? I actually don't even remember.
The fact that I don't remember means that I
didn't watch enough Paris games, sadly, to get a good read.
That's fair. Didn't stick out. Wasn't a big talking point, so I'm gonna say it was fine. Nothing to write home to mom about. But is that enough to topple Happy, even if there is no news about this team? Cough, cough, sneeze, justice? I don't know. Me thinks not. Me thinks this is a 3-1. Just on paper. Power alone. Paris is...
I'm just gonna do a raw DPS battle, and I think Happy Decay have to win here.
Yeah.
So I'll go 3-1 as well.
Yeah.
Did you say 3-1 or 3-0?
I said 3-1.
Okay, I'll do 3-1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yiska?
I mean,
eating breadsticks?
Vancouver isn't in this game.
This might just about be the saddest match of Overwatch League history.
Just as sad as a few of those, to be fair.
Dragons went 0-40. You can't even pick any of their 40 losses.
Yeah. And they had a couple 3-2s in there too, so they almost won.
No.
That's pretty sad.
I think I'm still going Justice.
Yeah.
There's just so much quality on that team, presumably still going to play. So, yeah.
No news.
Glads, Houston. We've talked about both teams already.
True.
I still don't think Houston are going to have the full integration of the new members really locked down for this matchup. And obviously, and even if they did, I'd probably still go for Glads. So,
yeah.
You know what? I'm going to go 3-1 because again, Glads, they like to lose that one map.
True. I'm leaning a 3-2. I genuinely think that the Gladiators are probably, and this isn't like a hot take, but like just on paper and like how this meta looks alone, how they can field it. I think this is like, in a weird way, like solidifying them as like way above everybody else, and it's really not going to be close. But in that same sentence, I also think that Houston is going to like kind of stick their name out there as like a team to watch. Like they're going to become a contender. I think that like this DPS duo alone is going to make this match, close. It's going to be a competitive game. I'm going to say this is a 3-2. It might not be in terms of like, that's how the score ends up, but like, that's the feeling of this type of game. I think this is going to be a banger, but like, it's hard. Like, I don't think anybody beats Glads right now. I think Glads is like a shoe-in to win the Summer Showdown. We're playing for seconds. We're playing for silvers. Yiska, does Houston get this done?
Nah.
No shot. No outs.
Nah, like the Glads is just the best.
Fireball.
Glads is not only the best team in the Overwatch League this year. They are also the best team in this meta, I think.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say like ever. Period.
They also have 2 Australian coaches.
True.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to come up with things like I'm still not confident in the tank position.
Okay.
I think.
Bro, what if Space comes out and plays the JQ? Wouldn't that be a hoot?
It would be a little weird, but I mean, it'd be interesting. A little odd.
No, it's 3-1.
Okay. Sunday. We're going Vancouver Titans, Paris Eternal for the double points as well.
Now, you guys said maybe it was just Joe. Paris Washington was the saddest game. How about this one?
No.
I don't think this is going to be sad. I think Titans are not a meme team. I think they're going to be like halfway decent. I think they're going to be like a good, like fairly competitive team. And I think they just kind of like wallop Paris here.
Your brain on Scrimbucks? Welcome.
Hey, until proven otherwise, and like I see the through line, so like I'm here for it. I'm here for the regime.
Right.
I need like a Soviet custom poster. Okay, Vancouver, listen to me. You locking eyes with me? I need like a Soviet custom like DePay propaganda poster with like an iron shoulder pad. I would buy that. Just saying. Anyways, back to the game.
What you need is what's that really famous poster of the woman with the bandana? She's got a she's got a bicep.
Sure.
It's that, but it's the shoulder, but it's
I'll
like
take that.
specifically shown off the shoulder.
Yeah, me, like you don't have breadsticks anymore. What you do have is a coach with like a funny story about him, so you might as well just fucking monetize that shit, right?
Like, imagine selling like cups with Aspire on it instead of tank tops. Like, how is it not obviously like a wife beater team? Like, come on.
I don't know how I feel about that. But
Wait, okay, wait, is that piece of clothing not called a wife beater? Am I wrong?
I mean,
It is.
there is a
It's colloquially
colloquially
called that. Yes.
Right. I'm not immune
More
to
of
the
an undershirt,
sensitivities there,
personally.
but yeah.
But Zoomers are not okay with that kind of language. I do think
Not bad.
Titans win here.
Yes, agreed. I
We're
think
we're
Titans-
just from a different generation, Yiska. Called
Hmm.
millennials. We're just from a different generation. 3 and 2. Is probably what I have. I'm giving. Fuck it, 3-1. Then you're right.
That's
3-1.
where I've got it. Yeah.
I think Titans get their first ever win here. Now, look, I'm going to say this though. If Titans don't get their first ever win here,
They're just not gonna win.
they're going 0-24 this season. They're going 0-24 this season, and I'm not accepting any other answers.
This is a must win. This is a gimme win. If Scrimbucks say, "Hey, we're actually a pretty good team,"
Like,
and like you go close with Toronto, you should be able to
by
beat
the way,
Paris. Like this is winnable.
I love that this is the highlighted match for double points. Like,
Yes, like
They're fucked for that. They're fucked for that. It's
Yeah.
funny as shit, but it's fucked.
that's so hilarious that this is the highlighted
as
match.
it is a hard one to like. Which team's gonna be just less shit on the day? Like, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
So
Even the pickems are leaning into the whole breadstick
Mhm.
toilet bowl thing now. It's like, oh, let's pick like what is on paper probably the worst match between the two lowest teams as our double points game.
Yo, speaking of breadsticks, like how is Pizza Hut not like the title sponsor of like the Pick'ems double points? Like I want the breadsticks to be like let's continue the meme.
Unfortunately,
Let's
they're not
get
paying
fucking
enough for that.
well, like I don't know if we need to package a deck. Like let's get on this Overwatch League. Let's start selling. I want Mike's Hard Lemonade 5-pack Ultimate
Alright, Joe,
Team
you know what?
fights.
Just for
I
you,
want Pizza Hut.
just for you, we'll package an upper deck for them. And
I'll
plus the
take that.
Gryffindor if you got that
I'll
joke.
take that.
Did everyone do the Titans Eternal, or are we moving on? Yiska do
I think
this?
we need numbers from Yiska. We just
Yeah,
need
okay.
a number.
All right, go on.
Set of numbers. Powerball me. Pile drive me.
You want numbers? You want map
I want
scores?
numbers.
Score.
I want-
Or do you
Score.
scores 3-0 Titans?
All right.
Wow. No faith in Paris.
Sweet.
Khan is upset that you betrayed him.
True. Another German. You opened Pandora's box, but this is your fucking shitty joke that you
Right,
ham-fist.
like I just hope someone buys him. Someone?
All
please?
right, let's get to Shock Mayhem.
Can't wait for Yiska to be the community manager for the Germany World Cup team for Overwatch.
See, I always turned it down, like whenever that came up.
The team would be too powerful if they had you in it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also very
Shock versus
disconnected. from
Mayhem.
Germany.
Shock versus Mayhem. So it's a 3-0. Let's move on to Fuel versus. Okay, is there any buyers for Mayhem in any regard here at all?
Again, this is another one that's like predicated. I think this probably will be a 3-0. But I'm gonna hedge my bets. I'm gonna give them a map. I'll give Florida a map. I'll say 3-1.
Okay.
Think just like
Yiska?
mirror into mirror, Shock should, overpower.
No, Mirror's on Vancouver. Yiska?
I mean, come on. One team is proper, one doesn't. This is my like little calculation.
One team is
here.
proper, one team has
You know what?
Onmo. I don't know.
Proper to me is an honorary Australian.
There you go. It's proper fuck,
Give him a
mate.
key to the city.
Yeah.
And I'm not even Australian, and I just did that.
Damn, that's true.
That's crazy.
Has there been a Kiwi play? Yeah, there have been Kiwi.
Color Hex. Color Hex.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Makes sense. Yeah, no. That's
What's your scoreline? What's your scoreline?
do you give Mayhem a map? That's the big
Joe
question.
did apparently.
I'll
apparently
be the Robin Hood. I'll give him, I'll
Guys
give him a
giving out
game.
free
Give him a
maps
map.
to the pool.
I'm respecting the hustle. I'm saying 3-1. Sure.
Oh,
That's
you guys
right.
are so
I'll lie.
nice. You guys are so generous. Fuel
They're good for
versus
one.
New York. I'm locking the 3-0
This is-
again, baby.
yeah,
I'm locking it
that's
in
a
again.
3-0. You know, we're out
Locking in
here
for 3-0.
stealing from the barons. We're, you know, handing out money. We're talking about Soviet propaganda, but New York kind of sucks. So that's a 3-0. Next.
Yiska?
Mommy?
Okay. Interesting response.
Oh, that's what you get on a no news day. No drama.
Yo.
You get a
Okay.
a cold-hearted mommy call.
Three.
How is it this hard?
Yeah, the scoreline is not easy. I think it's 3-1.
You think Ansun Jaeon Ping is gonna get a map?
Don't know.
You think Flora Sojourn's gonna get a map?
Maybe.
All right, fair enough. Good enough for me, Chief.
There you go. There you go.
2 3-0s and a 3-1. We'll round out Sunday with Atlanta Defiant. I want this to be good. I want this to be very good. It could be good.
Here we go. My
That's the
hot
makings
take
of a good
coming
game.
in. My hot take coming in.
Oh,
I'm doing it. I backed Toronto early. I'm gonna back them again.
Ooh.
Oh, this is such a crazy take. Oh my god, it's so crazy.
One.
Okay.
This is crazy. I
That
don't
might
know,
be
man.
the
Like,
craziest take you've ever had. Or so you make if you go in here.
I make a crazy take weekly. This is my one crazy take of the week.
Okay.
I gotta have at
Alright.
least one crazy take per week.
Respect. Respect.
This is my
down.
one. This is the the checkbox ticked. This is the quota met.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going Toronto 3-2. I believe in the finale Hisu combo. I think that's actually really strong. I think the backline's strong as well in this meta.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm probably gonna be wrong. But
Yo,
I'm gambling. We're out here gamba. We gamba right now.
Eric is wrong for that.
Here for a
Or
game.
Eric just brought up, just for the audio listeners, brought up the prediction like power rankings table from last time, where like AVRL had Atlanta at 3 and Toronto Defiant at 11. But of course, like it's a little disingenuous because it's a different meta, but it's still
It's not
funny.
predictions. That's a power ranking.
Yeah. Of the last meta, yeah.
And that's a completely different meta. Yeah, if we played Mid-Season Madness, I would have Atlanta 3-0ing this team. But it's different now.
I guess the interesting point here is to
It's not that different,
say,
though, is it? Hang on. Wait.
I'm a little kind of different. Different enough.
Shit, now I'm doubting myself.
No,
I'm doubting
no.
myself now.
This is a good call. I like this. If you think Toronto, you think finale is going to be a fucking nutter. You think Hisu has been good at Sojourn and will
guy's
continue to
making
be
me
good
doubt
at
myself.
Sojourn. No,
This
you stick
guy's
your gun.
making me doubt myself.
Twilight's a fucking playmaker. He's gonna fucking pop off in Atlanta again. Early stage, they could drop some games.
I want you
I'm
to
here
know
for it.
you're
I think it's a good
beautiful
call.
and you're worth it.
I would say stick to your guns. I like that call. I like that call a lot.
You will look
I mean,
like a genius.
You're
this-
Pred at the end of the day.
If this happens, you will look like a genius. That's for sure the case.
This is one of those gamba preds where you're like, shit, I'm behind, I gotta catch up, and this is how I do it.
Yeah. There's a reason why
This is
Vancouver's
how,
beating Toronto.
this is how I catch up.
God damn.
Yep. All right. Well, AVRL kind of mulls over his decision to Pred.
No, I'm
Toronto.
fine. I'm
All
leaving
right.
it.
He's locking in.
Where you guys
lock
at?
me in, Regis. Rest in peace. Yiska, where's this going?
What? Like, I think once again, Toronto's like, yes, no speedily. So, nah, I'm not following suit. I think it's like, I am going to, contrary to, popular belief, apparently, I'm putting some respect on the name of the Atlanta Reign. And I think this will probably even
You
be
ranked them 8th,
decisive.
dude. You have not been putting respect on Atlanta Reign's name.
Well, where are they in the
That is the
overall
power
Overwatch League
rankings. The standings is 8.
standing, Andy?
Now go. Standing Andy. No, there needs to be a punishment instead of Lord Bet. We just need to have Yiska stand for an episode. The entire like 3-hour episode, we just have to have him stand.
You know, I have a standing desk. That's very possible to do.
Standing Andy. Okay, so then you won't have any complaints about standing.
He does the entire episode phoning in from his walk.
Well, if you know Yiska lore, that's already happened.
I would put move my table down just like in solidarity to your points. The problem is that I have the cable management of a toddler, and my PC would totally rip out all the cords as soon as I started moving it up. Meaning that I spent like probably an extra $100 to $200 on a table that's supposed to roll up, but ultimately has done so maybe in the first week of me having it, and then it just became like, you know, one of those features where you like
I
the idea.
I paid a lot of money for a desk that can both stand and sit, and I think I've used the stand feature like 3 times.
Yep.
Anyway,
that's how it goes.
Anyway, score lines here. What are you guys doing?
3-1.
What are you guys doing?
I'm saying 3-1. 3-1 Atlanta.
Yep. Same.
Nobody backing me.
I think it's gonna come.
Joe's trying to make me lock Toronto, then he backs Atlanta.
Let's be honest. I think that like the Vancouver Titans over Toronto call is very bold. And do I think it's gonna happen? No, but like my gut is saying this is a magical game. This is one of those like upsets waiting to happen. So I'm gonna be the goofball and say like Vancouver gets their first win over a team that, you know, behind closed doors I've been pretty big on and, you know, almost wrote about. I think Toronto.
Go on. Yeah, go. No, you think Toronto?
I think Toronto, like you said, Hisu has been fantastic on Sojourn. Like, it's probably his best hero that we've seen since him playing Sombra, right? Like, it's been quite good. I trust you in judging Finale's Genji. I don't think that I've seen it all that much, but, you know, that's something that, like, I'm going to have to, like, hand wave and be like, all right, if you say it's good, I'm going to fucking back that. I'm going to say it's good. I think Chorong's going to be a fantastic Lucio. I think Twilight has been a playmaker his entire career, has been subtly flexible. I think he's going to be a fantastic brig for this team. And I don't really give a fuck who plays Junker Queen at this point because I don't even know if it's going to matter by the end of the stage. So I think Toronto has the makings of a good team. I just need to see it before I can believe it. So I don't think it's a huge, like a crazy upset if Toronto comes in. You judge them as like maybe a top 5 team, which I don't think it's that crazy to say. Color me, you know, crazy hot take Andy, but I'm here for it. I just need to see it first. That's all.
Yeah. I feel like AVRL's like thing, he set this up very well. You know, like the background with the burning and everything. I felt like this take is the equivalent of running into the burning house in order to save the household ficus. So there was no reason to get into the house to save it, but he's going to be a hero regardless.
I need you to know that you almost got me to spit out my water when you said ficus. And it was very close.
And out of the ashes, a phoenix rises.
True.
So thematic. So thematic.
That's what we call a callback.
Okay, I have a question. What's the maximum roster size a team is allowed to have? Is it 10 or 12 or what is it?
6 inches.
What?
Never mind.
No, I'm actually looking at it. Is it 10 players? Is it 10 players? Maximum roster size?
I think it's 10.
It's
Eric,
12.
Do you
it's still 12. It's still 12.
Still 12? Okay, good.
Okay.
Because that means Toronto Defiant can buy 5 of the Washington players here. So
possible. I mean,
they can buy
the entire
Washington. They can buy the entire Washington starting lineup, and that will give them enough firepower to finally beat the Atlanta Reign through pure numbers.
Yeah, no, that's possible. We're doing the Russian war thing. 2 men, 1 gun. If one man falls, the other man picks up the gun.
I was like, out of context, I was like, what are you on about?
Yeah, I was like, what does that even
mean,
mean, dude? Like, I'm confused.
Did I miss something in the news? But yes, I understand what you're talking about. I think, was that like Russian CS where they did that with like the AKs?
I mean,
that's actually like a World War II thing.
Yeah, that's a World War II thing.
What's a World War II thing?
Okay, fair play.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we had a little bit of a history lesson,
and it's about to be a World War III thing as well. The way the Russian economy is going, but that is the episode done. 255, done and dusted. The no drama episode because we decided to pack all the drama into a singular episode. 256 is going to be the official drama episodes. So tune in for a full 5-hour episode of only drama. We'll see you then. Boom. Catches.
Peace.